Hi. Oh, no need to get up. This is barely going to be a video. Last Sunday, February 9th, was the American Super Bowl, one of the hugest sporting events in the United States. And thanks to Mr. Kendrick Lamar, the most viewed televised event since the moon landing. We were truly blessed to receive Kendrick's halftime show, an art piece bursting with political symbolism, as well as fun Easter eggs for the fans, opening the floor to many different interpretations and meaningful discussions. Not to mention the very brave backup dancer who flashed a Sudanese and Palestinian flags at such a visible event. And though footage of him did not make it to TV, enough audience members caught it on camera to make waves and bring attention online. However, along with the many blessings we received that day, we unfortunately also received a curse. A curse that came in the form of Tubi's cowboy flesh hat ad. Now, along with the unimportant sports stuff that happens, the Super Bowl is generally known for their funny or more entertaining than normal ads.
You hit reply all.
Or at least that was the reputation Super Bowl ads had back when we were still a nation. And this cowboy flesh hat ad was one of the ads to air during this time. Now, was this ad particularly funny or more entertaining though? Not really. I think the most common reaction was a huh or a what? The ad features a boy who is born with a cowboy shaped flesh hat. Like, this shape is literally his head. And the flesh hat is meant to signal this boy's love for westerns. Obvious anatomical questions aside, does this mean that this boy is just predestined to love westerns? I can't imagine the fetus knows what media genres are and forms an opinion in the womb. Does that mean that that one person who owns 51 copies of the movie Click would have an Adam Sandler shaped head in this universe? Because that would be unfortunate. Anyway, Cowboy Hat Boy gets bullied by fantasy hat boys. Because liking fantasy is the cool, in thing, and liking westerns is not as cool, I suppose. Fast forward though, westerns eventually become the cool thing to like, and Cowboy Flesh Hat Boy finally feels accepted in a society that all wants to blend into this new western-dominated world. I would also like to note that everyone else in this shot are shown to have like normal heads. They're all just wearing actual cowboy hats instead of, you know, having a flesh one. So like, what the hell is up with Cowboy Hat Guy and the Fantasy Hat Guys? Is this some sort of genetic mutation in this world? Cowboy Hat Guy eventually finds his old fantasy hat bullies in a bar, his bullies now donning western hats in a sad attempt to fit in. Now, this chance is presented to Cowboy Flesh Hat Boy to get back at his bullies, but instead, he simply smiles and states that this isn't their genre, switches the bar's TV to fantasy programming, and tells them to like what they like before leaving the bar. A simple message, really. You don't have to jump on bandwagons, just be true to your own interests. Honestly, nothing too offensive here besides the very slight nightmare fuel that is the concept of a flesh hat. However, the normal, average suburbanite viewers of the Super Bowl understandably did not like this ad and did not like how weird it was. What's even funnier is that apparently the chief marketing officer of Tubi went through 25 different pitches before deciding that the cowboy flesh hat idea was the one that they were going to go with. Like, was this really the best one? Which audience specifically were they hoping to attract with this? I'm not entirely sure. However, the reason why I'm talking about this ad today is because I, being a resident of the hell site that is TUMBLR.com, along with the other inhabitants that reside on that hell site, keep getting bombarded with this ad. I literally cannot scroll past 7 or less posts without seeing this guy defile my screens. And you know what's worse? Is right when I wanted to capture live footage of how this man has been haunting me on the one social media app I use, he was gone. I can't find this ad anywhere now on Tumblr. He acted like he was never there. It's frustrating. Is he trying to gaslight me? You gotta believe me, he was there. I know I'm not alone in this either, because along with seeing Cowboy Flesh Hat ad every 5 posts, I would also see at least one post by another person about how they were plagued by Flesh Hat Boy's presence. I would like to stop seeing the Flesh Hat Tubi ad now, please. If I see that cowboy flesh hat and one more goddamn time. Hey Tumblr, can you please stop showing me that fucking Tubi flesh hat ad? Please! I've marked it as so many different things to request to not see that ad anymore, and you keep showing it. Please!
Abort him.
And I don't know if other people on other social media sites are receiving this ad as much as Tumblr is. Let me know if you are on whatever social media you like to use. But the thing about Tumblr in particular is that it's just such an awful place to advertise anything because the Tumblr audience is just so resistant to any form of marketing. Even just people wanting to advertise their own original art or comics or even fan art by making use of Tumblr's Blaze feature, a feature where you can pay money to help boost your post. Yeah, those posts are sometimes not well received by other Tumblr users. I have seen multiple artists receive anons telling them that they blocked them just for using the Blaze feature to blast their own art. Kind of funny for the website that is so pro small business and pro small artists and whatnot. Another thing that makes advertising on Tumblr so ineffective is because Tumblr doesn't really do any targeted ads. If an advertiser pays for an ad block, Tumblr will generally blast that ad to everyone on the website regardless if it's actually relevant to you or not. And this is also because Tumblr, if I remember correctly, either doesn't really collect your data, does a bad job at it, or they only just started doing this recently. If you want more information regarding why advertising on Tumblr is so weird and bad, Strange Aeons already made a great video on this featuring an ex-Tumblr employee, which shed a lot of light on the whole history. That being said, though it is common practice for Tumblr users to just quickly scroll past and ignore ads, every so often there will be an ad that's disturbing or strange enough that it kind of becomes a site-wide phenomenon. And that is what happened with Cowboy Flesh Hat Man. I feel like the last time we had an ad that terrorized us the same way Cowboy Flesh Hat ad is terrorizing us was the Pikachu Man ad of 2022. This was another ad that plagued many Tumblr users, except unlike Tubi's ad, which is a clear ad for Tubi, I don't know what the hell this ad was for, honestly. I think if I remember correctly, some people did some digging and found out that it was more so a way for Tumblr to promote itself outside of Tumblr. The hope was that Tumblr users would become so disturbed by the ad that they'd share it on outside social medias. The entire thing was a little confusing. Clicking on the ad supposedly just led you to other broken Tumblr links. What a use of advertising space. The thing is though, out of all the streaming services out there, I kind of feel like Tubi is actually a great streaming service for the Tumblrinas. I mean, it's completely free, and it has a huge variety of media on its app, including both mainstream movies and shows, as well as more niche ones from what I hear. And the general messaging of their marketing seems to align with Tumblr culture, you know, with wanting to lose yourself to a rabbit hole as shown in the Tubi Super Bowl ad from 2 years ago, and being true to your own interests as the Flesh Hat commercial attempts to convey, albeit in a silly and slightly disturbing way. And there are some Tumblr users who do recognize this and voice their support for this streaming service and ad, contrary to the loud majority that wishes for the Flesh Hat Man to be deleted from memory from all eternity. Tubi is the best streaming service because it captures the feeling of a video store, but not a corporate video store like Blockbuster, or even a good indie store, but a rundown video rental place under an overpass weeks away from closing down. You'll find like 2001: A Space Odyssey next to an unwatchable copy of a 70s exploitation film, and a micro low-budget indie, and a movie called Stripper Vampire Massacre 3, but you can find no evidence of Stripper Vampire Massacre 1 or 2 existing. This is a real commercial streaming service, and they've uploaded films with a DVD menu visible for the first few seconds because it's a recording of a DVD copy. What a titan in the landscape of streaming. Speaking of which, the Flesh Hat Cowboy ads are an expression of creativity and uniqueness, a concept among a slurry of standard fare Super Bowl slop. I'd have thought Tumblr would have appreciated that. But no, it's ew, weird, now is it? And you know, I kind of feel like they got a point. I suppose, as a resident of the small, specific niche community, we must be more critical of our criticisms. Yes, we live in a capitalistic society, but when there is a company trying to move in a more preferable direction, is it truly in our best interest to hiss and boo at them? That being said though, I still did not personally enjoy seeing Flesh Hat Man all of last week. He haunts me in my dreams now. I guess all I'm trying to say here is, Tumblr, please fix your advertising system. Alright, that's it. Get out of here. Bye.
He was born to love a Western, that's what everybody said. And what gave them that impression was his fleshy cowboy head.